What if I told you that somewhere on this planet, there exists a region of ocean that looks completely normal on every map, calm, vast, and unremarkable from above? Yet for centuries, it has been associated with some of the most mysterious disappearances in human history, a place known as the Bermuda Triangle. Between Miami in Florida, Bermuda in the North Atlantic, and Puerto Rico in the Caribbean, lies a stretch of ocean with no visible boundaries. There are no walls, no markers, no warning signs, just water. Endless, deep, blue water stretching across the horizon. Ships pass through it every single day. Airplanes fly over it constantly. Cruise liners, cargo ships, military aircraft, private jets, all of them cross this region without incident. And yet, this exact same region has built a reputation that makes even experienced pilots and sailors feel uneasy when its name is mentioned. Because throughout history, something strange has happened here. Something that does not always leave answers behind. Long before modern navigation systems existed, before satellites, radar, and GPS, sailors relied on the stars, compasses, and intuition to cross oceans. The sea was not just a route of travel, it was a place of uncertainty. And in this particular region of the Atlantic, strange reports began to appear. Compass needles behaving unpredictably, sudden loss of direction even in calm weather, unexplained fog forming out of nowhere, and ships simply not arriving at their destinations. At first, these incidents were treated as isolated events, human error, bad weather, poor navigation. But over time, patterns began to emerge. The same region, the same ocean zone, different ships, different crews, same outcome. Disappearance without explanation. As centuries passed, the stories grew, not because of exaggeration alone, but because they continued happening, even into the modern era. And when aviation entered the picture, the mystery deepened even further. One of the most famous incidents occurred in 1945, Flight 19. 5 U.S. Navy bombers departed from Florida on a routine training mission. The weather was perfect. Visibility was clear. The pilots were experienced. Nothing about the mission suggested danger. Their task was simple: navigation practice over the Atlantic, then return to base. But hours later, something changed. Radio transmissions began to sound confused. We can't see land anymore. Our compasses are not working. We are not sure of our position. At first, instructors on the ground tried to guide them back, but the situation quickly escalated. The pilots became disoriented. They could no longer identify familiar landmarks. Even basic directional awareness seemed lost. One pilot reportedly said the ocean did not look right anymore. Then, communication began to weaken. One by one, the voices disappeared, until there was nothing left. Silence. And then came something even more disturbing. A rescue aircraft was dispatched to locate them, a PBM Mariner flying boat. It also disappeared. 6 aircraft in total. Gone. Without a trace. No confirmed wreckage. No clear distress signal. No final explanation. Just empty sky and empty ocean. This event became one of the defining cases that turned the Bermuda Triangle into a global mystery. But it was not the first, and it would not be the last. Back in 1918, another massive disappearance occurred. The USS Cyclops. A large U.S. Navy cargo ship carrying over 300 people and heavy cargo crossed into the Atlantic and vanished. No distress signal. No confirmed wreckage. No survivors. even after extensive searches. Nothing conclusive was ever found.
It remains one of the largest non-combat losses in U.S. naval history. As more cases accumulated, the mystery grew stronger. Ships, aircraft, private vessels, military units, civilian flights, all of them shared one thing in common. They entered the same region and never returned. Naturally, scientists and researchers began searching for explanations, and many theories emerged. The first and most grounded explanation is environmental conditions. The Atlantic Ocean in this region is extremely dynamic. The Gulf Stream, a powerful ocean current, flows through the area like a massive underwater river. It can rapidly carry debris far from the original location of an accident, making wreckage difficult to locate. Storm systems in this region can also develop quickly. A calm sea can turn into a violent hurricane system in a matter of hours. And then there are rogue waves, massive walls of water that can rise unexpectedly, powerful enough to overwhelm even large ships without warning. But even this explanation does not account for everything, because some disappearances occurred in calm weather. Some aircraft never sent distress signals. Some cases left almost no trace at all. Another theory involves magnetic anomalies. Some researchers have suggested that the Bermuda Triangle contains irregularities in the Earth's magnetic field. Compass readings may become unreliable, especially in older navigation systems. In earlier centuries, this could easily cause ships to drift off course without realizing it. However, modern navigation does not rely solely on magnetic compasses. GPS systems, radar, and satellite tracking should eliminate this issue. Yet reports of unusual incidents still appear from time to time. A more scientific explanation involves methane gas hydrates beneath the ocean floor. Large deposits of methane exist under the seabed. If released suddenly, they could reduce the density of seawater, potentially causing ships to lose buoyancy and sink rapidly. In extreme scenarios, rising gas could even interfere with aircraft engines flying through affected airspace. However, there is no solid evidence that such large-scale releases have occurred in a way that explains all Bermuda Triangle incidents. And when science reaches its limits, human imagination begins to fill the gaps. One of the most famous speculative theories is the idea of dimensional anomalies. Some believe the Bermuda Triangle is a region where space and time behave differently, a kind of weak point in reality where objects can slip into another dimension or unknown space. In this theory, missing ships and aircraft are not destroyed, but displaced, removed from our reality entirely. Some pilot accounts mention strange phenomena before disappearance: unusual fog, distorted light, or sudden instrument failure without clear cause. But none of this can be scientifically verified. Another popular cultural theory involves extraterrestrial activity. Some believe the region is a site of alien experimentation or transportation, that ships and aircraft are taken for study or observation. However, this theory remains speculative and is not supported by evidence. If we return to the simplest explanation, the Bermuda Triangle may not be as mysterious as it seems. It is one of the busiest maritime and aviation regions in the world. With so much traffic, accidents are statistically inevitable. And when accidents happen in a place already surrounded by mystery, the story grows far beyond the facts. Media amplification, historical storytelling, and modern internet culture have all contributed to building the legend. But despite all theories and explanations, one thing remains unchanged: the feeling of uncertainty. Because even today, not every disappearance has a complete answer. Imagine being on a ship in the middle of that ocean. The night is calm. The water is still. The sky is filled with stars. Then, slowly, something begins to feel wrong. The compass starts to drift. Radio signals become unclear.
navigation systems begin to behave unpredictably. A light fog appears in the distance. Not a storm, not rain, just fog, forming where it should not be. And within minutes, communication begins to fade. No signals, no contact, no direction. Only the vast ocean, and silence growing deeper every second.
The Bermuda Triangle remains one of the most famous mysteries in the world, not because of what we know, but because of what we still cannot fully explain. Every generation adds new theories. Every technology tries to solve it. Every investigation brings partial answers. But no final conclusion has ever fully closed the case. Maybe one day science will uncover a complete explanation. Or maybe the ocean will continue to keep its secrets, and the Bermuda Triangle will remain what it has always been. A place where reality feels slightly uncertain, and where one question continues to echo through time. What really happened there?